Can you believe that I barely do any typing in my full working day? No, seriously, from the moment when I sit at my desk in the morning to the last message that I send at night on my phone. If you run an online business or you're a full-time creator like me, someone who works from home, then your day probably requires a lot of writing. And I actually watched an interview with the founder and CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, and he said this.
So, when I'm writing an essay or something, or things I say in front of the company, I feel like a fair amount of my job is writing.
So don't feel bad about it. We're in good company. For me, it's writing a ton of emails, scripts for my videos, captions, comments, messages to my team members and to my clients. And I also have to reply many times a day to personal emails and to messages in Portuguese. I live in Portugal, but it's not my first language. I can speak it okay, but spelling can be a challenge. And all of that together used to mean hours of typing across my phone and computer every single day. But for the past few months, I've barely touched my keyboards, both on my laptop and on my smartphone. And I'm actually getting more done. So this is Typeless. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I use it throughout my entire day, across every device and every app. And this video is sponsored by Typeless, but everything that you're about to see is my real workflow. So Typeless works on Mac, Windows, Android, and iPhone, which means it follows me everywhere. Desktop is in the mornings when I'm deep in work mode. Phone in the afternoon when I'm out or away from my desk. And the experience, by the way, is seamless across both. Same features, same intelligence, same quality. The two things that I use the most are the dictate function, which turns your speech into clean formatted text, and the translate function, which lets me speak in English and get perfect Portuguese output. So let me walk you through my real day. Okay, in the morning, I open my inbox and I usually have a handful of emails waiting. Collaborations, brand deals, questions from my clients and from my team. For example, this one is from a brand asking about a potential partnership. Normally, this would take me about 10 minutes to craft it properly. But watch this. Hands-free. Hi, thanks so much for reaching out. I've had a chance to look through your brief, and I think there is a really interesting alignment with my audience, especially around the productivity space. I do have a few questions before we move forward. First, what's the timeline looking like for this campaign? And second, is there flexibility on the creative direction, or is this brief fairly fixed? And third, what does the deliverables list look like? Are we talking about one video or about a series? I'd love to get on a quick call this week to discuss, does Thursday or Friday work for you? Looking forward to it, Anastasia. Done? You see the perfect paragraphs? Professional tone, specific numbered questions. I didn't structure any of that manually. You've seen it. I just talked through my thoughts and it organized everything. The second thing that I usually tackle in the morning is prep work for upcoming collaborations. So today I need to put together a brief for a brand that I'm working with this month. Normally, this would mean staring at a blank document for like 10 minutes, trying to figure out where to start. But watch this instead. Brief for upcoming brand collaboration. The video will be around 6 minutes long. The target audience is home office creators and remote workers between 25 and 40 years old. The main message is that a good desk setup directly improves your focus and your output. Key points to cover. First, what I changed in my own setup and why I did that. Second, how the product fits into a real work from home routine. And third, the difference that I noticed after using it for 3 weeks. I guess that's it. That's a complete brief, structured and professional, and I can just copy and send it to the brand. I didn't open any template, I didn't format anything manually. I just talked through what I needed and Typeless turned it into a document that looks like I spent a significant time working on it. That's what I mean by thinking out loud. And it captures the structure so you don't have to do it. And I also use it for many on-the-go quick tasks on my phone. Now here's something that I love about how Typeless works on both desktop and on my mobile phone. It's not locked to one specific app. It works everywhere where I need to type. Let's say, for example, I usually try to reply to comments to my videos in the first hour after the video goes live, and that used to keep me at my desk because I used to type the answers here, but now I can do it from anywhere. See, even when I'm on my phone, I can just say, "Sounds great, thank you for watching my channel." Here we go. My comment is sent back. Every app, one workflow, zero typing. And in the afternoons, I'm often outside having meetings or doing some shopping, but work doesn't stop. It never does when you're running your own online business, especially if you are a solopreneur like I am. So I'm coordinating with my video editor on Facebook messages, and with many brands I also exchange messages on WhatsApp for faster communication. So I do need to reply a lot of urgent messages throughout the day, and I absolutely hate typing on the phone, especially when I'm on the go. So before, I would often think, okay, I cannot reply now, it's too much typing. And I would leave the message unanswered, and of course, when I get home, I have other 200 things to do, and I just forget to reply. And you might think, well, you could have just sent an audio message. But for many people that I chat with, English is not their main language, and I'm not sure if my voice message will be understood 100% correctly. Plus, I also want to have some things in writing so that later, my video editor or the brand and I are always on the same page. So Typeless solved this problem for me entirely. I just hit this button and reply by talking to my phone, and it not only types it perfectly, but also removes my pauses, ahems, and it structures the text so that it's easier to read it on the phone. Check out what happens when I send this message. I think we should push the deadline to Thursday. The edit needs a bit more time, and I'd rather deliver something great than rush it. Here's the result. Okay, and now I'm replying to a follow-up email on my phone while I'm away from my desk. Hi, thanks for the update. The revised proposal looks good. I just have one small change to ask. Can we adjust the posting date to the 18th instead of 15th? That will work better with my content schedule. Let me know if that's okay. Thanks, Anastasia. What I've got here looks like a professional email, but it's written on my phone. I've shown you how it works here, but I usually do this while cooking something in the kitchen and answering emails with Typeless. Okay, and now for my favorite feature. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. I already mentioned I live in Portugal and I've learned to speak Portuguese pretty well over the years, but spelling it's still very difficult. Plus my phone, it always is confused because I switch between English and Portuguese. And so autocorrect tries to fix Portuguese words into English, and it makes everything worse. So I started using Typeless's translate function. Watch how simple this is. It's an email that I received about signing up my daughter for an extracurricular activity. So I'm going to speak in English and it will send perfect message in Portuguese. Watch the magic. Thank you for sending this to us. We will probably pass there on 20th at 10. Could you let me know if we need to bring any additional documents? Thank you, Anastasia. Perfect. I know that most people watching this cannot verify the quality of the translation, but I couldn't say it better. It has natural phrasing and it uses the European Portuguese. Because, most online tools, actually, including even Google Maps, they default to Brazilian Portuguese. And obviously, it wouldn't work for me since I live in Portugal. So Typeless even goes into these kinds of nuances when you use the translation feature. If there's anyone watching this video and European Portuguese is your first language, then please confirm in the comments, because I believe This is as good as a native speaker would write it. And what I love most is that it captures my tone. It doesn't sound too official or robotic like Google Translate. It sounds like me, just in Portuguese. Because, I'm not too ceremonious in writing emails usually. And by the way, this works for any language combination. English to Spanish, French to English, Japanese to Portuguese, whatever you need, you just speak it and it delivers. So that's my real day with Typeless. Morning emails and scripts on desktop, afternoon messages and replies on mobile, lots of text in Portuguese throughout the day, mostly for all the daily stuff like communication with my husband, my daughter's school, my doctor, So all of this, just this one app. But it works for me across every device and for every task. And the thing that I keep coming back to is that my communication is actually better now. Because when you type, you usually abbreviate, you skip words, and you rush. But when you speak, you think in complete thoughts. Your actual personality comes through better this way. Typeless doesn't just save you time, but it also makes the output better. And it's available on Mac, Windows, Android, and iPhone. Sign up through my link in the description below or use the code AnastasiaBlogger and you will get a $5 credit, which can be applied toward your next purchase. Test it for a week. You will see it's really hard to imagine going back to typing again after this. For me, it's especially hard to type anything on my phone after trying Typeless. So if you found this helpful, then subscribe because I test productivity and AI tools every week and I share only the ones that I actually use. And drop a comment below because I want to know what part of your workflow you would replace first with Typeless. And before you go, check out my next video that shows you what changes I made in my online business that allowed me to work just 4 hours per day instead of 12 that I used to work before. I'll see you in that next one.